This is One Broke Gamer Girl, and this is my review of Monopoly Plus for the PlayStation 4. As a child, I was always a fan of board games. I loved Candyland to death, and when I finally reached my teenage years, I was introduced to Monopoly. Needless to say, I absolutely fell in love with this game because of its whole premise. Move around the board, buy property, build houses, and collect money from other people until you bankrupt them. What's not to love about that? Not to mention that when you're actually playing with other people, the shady dealings that go on. Oh, you can't afford to pay me for my hotel on Broadwalk? Well, you can try to mortgage just about everything you have, or you can just give me your collection of green properties and we can call it even. The other person looks nervous before handing them over and essentially handing you the game, as if you didn't already have it. It took a while for me to realize that I actually had this game with the Hasbro Family Fun Pack Conquest Edition that I purchased last year, so I figured I would give it a go and see if it held up to my standards. Anyone remember playing this game on Nintendo? So while I played the actual board game Monopoly, who hasn't, I also played the Nintendo version that introduced the whole auction concept, which was just fascinating to me because when you play the board game, if someone can't afford a property, it gets left alone until someone else who can afford the property lands on it and buys it. Needless to say, I loved playing Monopoly hours upon hours on the Nintendo. Anyone else play on the Nintendo? Let me know in the comments section below. Monopoly Plus is exactly like the board game, so there isn't any story to it. I mean, if you want to be creative, you can make up one in your head, but the main point of the game is to play with other people, move around the board, buy properties, build houses, turn those houses into hotels, and try your hardest to bankrupt the other players in order to win the game. Overall, I have to say that I really wasn't impressed with this game at all. There are basically two board types, the original board that showcases the classic Monopoly board, and the living board, which shows all different types of animations as you move around the board. There was really nothing special with this game, as you can play by normal house rules or set your own rules, like whatever is collected from community chest and chance goes into free parking, and whoever lands on free parking gets all that money. I couldn't really find a reason to play beyond the hour and 30 minutes that it took me to get all the trophies for this game, because there really didn't seem like a point. That's not to mention that you have to play with another person. There is no AI to play with. This was just a foolish move on Ubisoft's part, in my opinion, because I could have seen myself playing for a lot longer if I wasn't playing against myself constantly. We'll get to the online multiplayer portion a little bit later on, but you get my drift. There could have been so much more to do and actually make this game more playable if there was an AI option that had different difficulty levels. The playability of this game is pretty simple. Pick your board, pick how you want to play, pick your piece, and start the game. All you have to do is roll the dice and click a couple of buttons to make purchases, trades, buy houses and hotels, or mortgage properties. It's so simple that when the controls simply don't work for whatever reason, it makes you want to smash your controller into a million little pieces. How many times do I have to hit R1 to buy a damn house? Apparently a lot, because it seems like the game doesn't recognize it. How many times do I have to mash the damn X button to roll the dice? More than once, because the game really doesn't respond that well to that either. Of course, I checked this out with another controller, thinking that it was the problem of my own controller, but nope, it's the game itself. While this game doesn't have any bugs or glitches, the fact that the controller isn't really all that responsive causes some controller breaking moments. As you try to purchase property, roll the dice, trade with another player, or put up some houses and hotels. Not to mention the fact that the game animations themselves take way too long to complete, making it take a long time to actually move a piece around the board. This becomes annoying quickly, and even hitting the skip button doesn't work all that well or cut down the amount of time it takes for a player to complete a turn on this game. The graphics for this game are simple and nothing to write home about. I remember enjoying the graphics for Monopoly more on the Nintendo than I did for this game. The classic board is your original board that is just floating in space, and your living board isn't better either. Sure, it has some animations added to it, and it makes it look like living in a town or city, but it really does nothing for the game. The graphics were just one more thing that made me shrug my shoulders and try to ignore them as I went along my merry way playing this game. Annoying announcer is, well, annoying. Not only are the graphics lackluster, but the announcer for this game is downright annoying. He repeats the same thing over and over again, and after 10 to 15 minutes of this, it's time to put the game on mute and hook up your headphones if you're playing alone, and listen to some music to make the time go by faster. There are a total of 15 trophies for this game, and they're all super simple to get. You'll basically have to do everything the game has to offer from buying properties to winning auctions to playing locally with 6 people and playing the game with house rules. This is nothing that can't be done in an hour and a half or even less. I've seen people get all the trophies for this game in 30 minutes. So there are only 2 ways that you can play this game, with someone sitting right next to you or with someone online. I'm going to say right now that the online is completely dead and I wasn't able to find a match when I tried, so after a good 20 minutes of searching, I gave up. Locally, you can either play with someone else logged in or you can play with the guest, have no one to play with. You're going to end up playing all by yourself because there is no AI for you to play against. Overall, I give this game a 1 out of 5. Here's what's great about it. It's the same old Monopoly that everyone knows and loves. Here's what's not so great about it. There is no AI, and you have to play with someone else or play against yourself. If you have no one to play with, don't count on the online portion because it's dead. Also, the graphics are lackluster, and I really expected more from something that was released on the PlayStation 4. Not to mention, the buttons are not at all responsive, and you'll basically be button mashing in order to roll the dice or to buy houses, which becomes annoying really quickly. There's also the fact that moving around the board takes way too long, and so do the other animations. At first it's cool, but gets old real quick, and even hit and skip doesn't help. I would give it my strong recommendation to just skip this game. Even if you have a group of people and you want to play Monopoly, you're better off going out and getting yourself a board so that you can play like that because there's nothing special about this game. Also nowadays, if you get a board, there are a million to choose from. You can even get a Mass Effect one if you want. Anyway, I know the trophies for this game are easy, and if you're in it for the trophies, you'll want to play this because not so many games give you 15 trophies in 30 minutes. If you're not looking for the trophies and you're looking for a decent game of Monopoly, then move along because you aren't going to get it here. And here I thought Ubisoft couldn't screw up a game as much as they screwed up Tetris Ultimate. I hate it when I'm wrong.
Welcome to Monopoly.